Gender ideology has kind of like gone into everything.
Yeah, because humans are in everything and humans have gender.
I am really concerned about why the arts are so captured.
Because it's gay people in the arts, okay? Gay people run the arts. Who runs the arts? Gays.
For researchers to actually dive into.
Yeah, but there's none of that here. I'm kind of obsessed with his styling, but I think that'll fade.
Gender ideology.
Ideology. Do you think that's just how she says it, or do you think that she's making a play on the word idiot and she's making a portmanteau out of idiot and ideology? That's fun. I don't think she's that smart, but that would be fun if she was. This video contains subject matter which may be inappropriate for some viewers. I didn't even do a sound check, but honestly, I hope I don't catch this. Hello, you stunning woman on the go. It feels brighter than normal. Welcome back to Dismantling Hate, the show where we dismantle some... Welcome back. Hello, you stunning woman on the go. Welcome back to Dismantling Hate. I'm your host, David Day, and today we're gonna look into Genspect again. What is Genspect? Garbage. Garbage. Garbage.
Sorry about it.
Today we're going to take a look at 6 shorts, essentially, but they're in landscape.
Elderly young woman.
And the videos that we have to look forward to are: the art sector is so captured. No pride flags, no pronouns, no gender. We mustn't be deceived by false words. Changing kids' sex is crazy. 14 new sexual orientations taught in schools. The young lives are being ruined. They're all serving Southern hospitality to me, so I had to do the accent. Oh yeah, I didn't do the outro for the intro. Dismantling Hate starts now.
She's hilarious.
All right, here's what Rosie K has to say.
I'm here with Rosie K.
Hi, hello there.
She looks like a Rosie K.
I thought you
There's a lot going on here.
were asking me a question.
Yeah, sorry. I'm here with
You gonna ask me a question, love?
Rosie K. And
What is this awful camera angle? She's like looking back at it.
and she's just finished speaking at Genspect. Is this your first time?
Yeah, this is my first time at Genspect. I have followed both online the podcast, but also I've seen that there's been conferences in the past. And actually, I was talking to Stella about some of my ideas that I've just talked about at the conference, and I got in touch and I said, is there anything you might be interested to do with the arts? Because I know it's a little bit tangential. And she was like,
Tangential. That is a nice word.
please could you talk a bit about the kind of transhumanism stuff you've been looking at? So that's what I've just been talking about.
Transhumanism. I don't know what that means. Oh, look.
That's great. A wonderful talk. What have you thought of the weekend so far?
It is really full on, actually, and sometimes I find it...
It really is full on, actually. Me when it's full on, actually.
quite harrowing, quite upsetting. Sometimes it's very overwhelming when you see, like, across the world, how gender ideology has kind of, like, gone into everything, and particularly...
Yeah, because humans are in everything and humans have gender. Okay, transhumanism. Transhumanism is a philosophical and intellectual movement that advocates the enhancement of the human condition by developing and making widely available new and future technologies that can greatly enhance longevity, cognition, and well-being. See, this is just crazy to me because I logged on to roast Genspect and now I'm already writing a podcast outline in my head on transhumanism. So basically from the Wikipedia page that I just read here in silence for 3 minutes is that transhumanism essentially has to do with like having technology and making humans be able to do things that we wouldn't be able to do naturally. So a really big one would be to live longer or to have superhuman strength that is enhanced in many types of ways. And it's often criticized by conservative Christian fundamentalist people, I guess, interfering with God's design. That would be my guess as to why. The second part I made up. The first part I read on Wikipedia. I really might make a podcast episode on that. If you're interested in my podcast where it's actually structured and academic, I mean, this is giving more camp comedy. But anyway, season 3 is popping off over there. But yeah, okay, let's keep going, Rosie.
Like when someone like Sarah Phillimore talks about how it's infiltrated the law and medicine, which should be evidence-based. Now, it's more understandable that
She's just talking about how gender shouldn't be in medicine. And that is crazy because your gender is a big part of who you are. So your gender and your sex is a big part of who you are. So of course it's going to be in the law and with and it is evidence-based. Okay, Rosie K, are you going to provide a source in the next 1 minute?
Goes off in funny directions. Although I am really concerned about why the arts are so captured. But when you
because it's gay people in the arts, okay? Gay people run the arts. Who runs the arts? Gays. I don't know why. I don't make the rules. But here I am participating in the arts.
About law and medicine and the Endocrine Society, it's kind of quite... I still find it...
The Endocrine Society. Is that a thing? Is that a society we've been knowing about and nobody told me? Okay.
Genuinely so shocking that we can be doing things that could be damaging people without any evidence.
That is not shocking. I'm not saying that trans people are doing that and trans kids could be harmed and we have no evidence, because that's not true. But why would you be shocked if that was the case? We do things to people that are not good to them all the time, with evidence in the opposite direction of those actions. That's not shocking. That would be consistent with the rest of the world. So at least this way, having a potential danger involves somebody getting to live the way they want to for the time they're on this earth. So...
Absolutely. So I'm just wondering...
This reporter... That's a stretch. With the clip up here on the side, I just love it. Why is it particularly there? I don't know. Doesn't matter.
We're running out of time, but can you tell us a little bit about how people can find out more about your work?
Oh, sure.
You're telling me Rosie K has work? Okay.
Rosie K, K-A-Y, and I'm...
I guess. Spell K-A-Y. All right, yeah.
Dance company called K2 Co.
She runs a dance company. Why are we listening to her about, the arts? Okay, there's too many queers in her dance classes. Honey, if you don't have the queers in your dance classes, you're going out of business.
You just Google k2co.com, and I'm also the...
So there's nothing there. Looks like Scam City to me. I don't understand.
So you can just Google k2co.com, and I'm also the co-founder of an organisation called Freedom in the Arts, and that's supporting artists that face either cancellation or we're even getting pre-cancellation cancellations now, just in case...
What? But why are you getting canceled? Because you're being an asshole to people? I don't feel bad for you. No one feels bad for you.
You might have wrong think. So I'm on Twitter and my website I'm quite easily to get hold of.
No, you're not. Anyway, whatever, Rosie K, I've had it.
Great, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
My name is Yvette Neri, and I am from New Mexico in the United States. And I am...
Mexico in the United States? New Mexico? What?
And I am here because...
I keep scrubbing back not far enough because the video is only 1.5 minutes long. Okay, where are you from, you veterinary? Stop looking at me like that.
Neri, and I am from New Mexico in the United States.
Got it.
And I am here because my hair is on fire.
Girl, why is your hair on fire? About the danger that children are in? That is a weird turn of phrase. I don't believe I've ever heard that. Girl, my hair's on fire. It is way too oily. I have leave-in conditioner right now. She's doing a process right now, okay?
About the danger that children are in under this gender ideology move.
Ideology. Do you think that's just how she says it, or do you think that she's making a play on the word idiot and she's making a portmanteau out of idiot and ideology? That's fun. I don't think she's that smart, but that would be fun if she was.
So can you tell us a little bit about, I see you're from Gays Against Groomers. Can you tell us a bit about your organisation and your book?
Oh, she has a book, and this is a different reporter. Okay, get us together, Mary. What's your book?
Gays Against Groomers is a nonprofit organization.
We know all about Gays Against Groomers. I've done many videos on that. Those were back in the early days. So I'm sped up to 110 because I just assumed everybody had ADHD, and apparently they don't. And it was too fast for some people, but it was just right for me. Anyway.
LGB. And our single goal is to push back against sexualizing and transitioning children.
Yvette Neri, get out of here.
Right, so how have you found being at the conference?
It has been wonderful. I've met so many...
The weird, glance at the camera. Also, she didn't tell us about her book.
...minded people, and I've learned new ideas, and I feel hopeful.
Yeah. Where do you think, taking from what you've got from being at the conference, do you see what needs to happen a bit more, We
need to get into the schools and get this business out of the schools. No,
the whole point of why it's in the schools is because queer people exist in schools as well, the teachers, the students, and because learning should represent life. And if you're not doing that, that is it fascism? Is it control? I don't know what it is. But if your learning environment doesn't look like your regular environment, that disconnect is really not education. That's just a standardization to arbitrary levels that the government has decided that we need to learn. Did that make any sense, or was that profound? Who knows?
Flags, no gender, no special pronouns.
No gender in schools. Everybody who comes in is a they. You know what? I'd be fine with it. I already pretty much use gender inclusive language when I'm in a classroom anyhow.
And reroute the kids in their bodies on the land.
So that's...
Okay.
Good. And I mean, something I think is there needs to be lots of collaboration between different groups, and you do learn, even if it's different contexts in different countries, there's so many similarities. Yes. Would you agree with that?
100%.
Yeah. Okay, that's lovely. Thank you. Is that okay?
God, these are bad. Okay, number 3. Okay, let's turn it and burn it, baby.
Hello. Could you just tell me your name?
Oh my God, it's already so chaotic and we just started. Hello, could you tell me your name? This is Bev Jackson. Get seated for Bev Jackson.
What brings you to the conference?
So I'm Bev Jackson. I'm a co-founder.
I love that her hand is on top of her hand, and it's just amazing. It's amazing.
LGB Alliance. We founded LGB Alliance in 2019.
LGB Alliance. Whew. These videos are good for ideas. A UK-based organization that advocates for the rights of lesbian, gay, and bisexual people, specifically focusing on issues related to sexual orientation. It was founded in 2019 in response to what it perceives as a shift in focus within the broader LGBTQ movement towards transgender issues, leading to a perceived neglect of the needs and concerns of LGB individuals. And so you're TERFs. Got it.
So we're just about celebrating our 5th anniversary.
And how have you found being at the conference?
Very inspiring, a little overwhelming. Sometimes it's difficult to process whether women's perspectives are being incorporated enough. And so I constantly have to try and process that for myself. I hear things that I'm not quite sure whether I agree. For instance, somebody questioned whether bullying was mentioned as a factor for teenage boys, whereas I think bullying is very much a factor for teenage girls. Lesbians are bullied. They come out as lesbian, they're bullied for that, and then they adopt a trans identity or a non-binary identity or queer identity in order to avoid that nasty word lesbian. So it's...
God, she is probably the most well-spoken out of the 3 so far. Like, literally expressing the language is smoother and easier to follow with her for sure. But the thing is, if you were avoiding bullying, if you're going to be a lesbian, like, okay, let's go ahead. I'm going to use my example from the opposite direction. So as a boy growing up, I was bullied a lot for, I guess, being feminine. It wasn't really for being, I guess it was for being gay, but like, you couldn't really distinguish because people didn't know I was gay to a certain point. They just knew I was feminine because I was feminine, and I was bullied quite a bit, I think, because of that. If I had been trans instead, I know that I would have had so much more bullying happen if I was actually presenting as a girl. If I actually was transitioning in that time, there's just no way that that makes sense to become more visibly queer to avoid bullying. That doesn't, no.
It's very inspiring. I'm very grateful to Genspect, but there's conflicting things, which is also good, I think.
Yes, and it was very important that you said that this is the new conversion therapy, and that it's been marked this morning just how lesbians have suffered the most for a long time.
Yes. When you say ban conversion practices, that sounds like a really good thing, because conversion practices are horrible. Trying to do something.
But yet she's about to justify it somehow?
To people to change them into something else. But it's a very deceptive name, and what they're trying to ban, the people who want to ban conversion practices, is the kind of holistic approach that Hilary Cass has recommended.
Not the Cass review. I don't know if you know about the Cass review. We're not going to talk about that here. It's basically the Bible for most of these people. Holistic conversion therapy is what she's selling us right now. Are you buying it? I'm not buying it.
Mostly involves exploratory therapy. So we mustn't be deceived by the false words that are used to describe it. The ban on conversion practices, as we've seen in Victoria, Australia, are not good for LGBT people, and they do not follow the recommendations of the Cass Review.
Thank you.
I'm Chris Elston, better known as Billboard Chris.
Okay, this is Billboard Chris. Okay, come on, Chris.
Invited me here because I travel the world having conversations about what I consider to be the greatest child abuse scandal in modern medicine history.
Holy man, he's a fast talker. If he can travel the world talking about this, there's hope for me still.
Crazy practice of trying to change the sex of children.
Yeah, a fellow ADHDer, I can tell. He is talking so fast. That is not a flattering freeze frame.
And how have you found being at the conference for the last 2.5 days?
This is fantastic. It's not my usual crowd, to be honest with you, because a lot of my work's in North America and it's mostly conservatives that I work with. But it's great to be around all these psychologists and psychiatrists, and there are a lot more leftists here. It's just a very different energy, but I love it all. So I'm making friends, and when you make friends in different parts of the world, you can then collaborate together. So I'm looking forward to working with some people. Yeah,
I think that's interesting. And what do you think is the main thing you're kind of taking away? I mean, it does seem collaboration has to be, we have to join all the different movements together. That's what I mean. That's something that I feel. And I've just listened to your podcast with...
Oh, God. Billboard Chris and his friggin' podcast. Whoa, he's Canadian. Protests against transgender healthcare and transgender people. Billboard Chris travels the United States wearing a sandwich board with messages including children cannot consent to puberty blockers. Elston has been involved in 20 incidents, including 15 protests and 5 cases of harassment. Elston frequently targets gender-affirming care providers, school districts, campus colleges, and other public events. Works with many far-right parents' rights groups, including Moms for Liberty, we know them. Gays Against Groomers, we know them. Genspect, we're reacting to them right now. Do No Harm, Independent Women's Forum, I don't know those two, and the Heritage Foundation, I do know. Okay, well, that's Billboard Chris. Wow, yeah, just filling out the content calendar.
Stella and Sasha is very powerful. There's a very clear message. So what do you feel you're taking from this that will affect what you do, or what you feel as a movement needs to happen?
Well, it's great to make friends with people, because that might sound cliche.
It does.
But when you don't know people, you can't really work together with them. And there might be a natural distrust of some people when you don't know them, because maybe people have heard lies or whatever. But when you get to know people, then
it's all been lies and collusion.
Work together and plan stuff for the future, because we really are more powerful when we all put our heads together and work together to fix this.
There's a bald joke there, I think, but never mind.
That's great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh,
Thank you.
God. Okay, so we have 2 left, and this is Elder Samari Christensen.
Well, my name is Elder Smári Kristensson, and I'm from the Lesbian and Gay Alliance in Iceland.
Wow.
And I was here to give a little talk on the dangers of self-ID and a country in the capture of queer ideology.
Do you want to say a little bit about what's been happening in Iceland and the work that you're doing?
Okay.
Well, we only have a couple of minutes here. I mean, there's been an institutionalized capture throughout our institutions, human rights organizations and interest organizations, education, religious institutions like the State Church of Iceland, the government, everywhere.
Yes, I'm sorry. I was really shocked in your presentation. I mean, it was quite extraordinary, the breadth of what you're doing and how captured it's been when you imagine somewhere like Iceland.
Like this word captured keeps coming up. Like we've been captured by this ideology. It's a very staunch anti-trans dog whistle.
Is very progressive or free thinking, and particularly that the church was so bought into it.
Yes, it's quite bizarre. Why the church is so captured?
There it is again.
I can only speculate whether.
You think the church is captured by gender ideology? What in the world?
There have been people in the Theological Institute of the universities who have actually subscribed to this theory and then been ordained priest and then taken the ideology into the church.
It's subscribed, it's ideology, and it's captured. Those 3 together, like I don't think I would ever use any of those 3 words when talking about queerness at all.
Whether it's come that way, I don't know. You know, this is something that is up for researchers to actually dive into.
Yeah, but there's none of that here.
I'm being at the conference.
I think it's been very, very educational and very inspirational. There's a lot of knowledge here, and it's a very, very diverse group of people. You have, people from the homosexual community. You have people from, that comes here from a religious background. There are people, or both, and then there's people from the university faculties and law. Everywhere.
Yes. So it's very quite inspiring to be surrounded by so much knowledge, and also for yourself, because it seems that you do in Iceland you haven't got many other organisations supporting you.
Well, we
I wonder why.
have none. There is a parental organization that is starting to be built. So there's a grassroots going on. So there are things happening. I mean, people have been coming to.
I just cracked my neck. I don't know if I've ever done that in videos. Do y'all do that? Wow.
My organization and expressing their concerns both in the educational system, what is happening with the indoctrination of children, and obviously also the concern about having all these rainbow exposure everywhere. You can see our legacy.
I hate rainbows everywhere. Oh God, I'm bored now, Elder. Come on.
Organization in Iceland, which was supposed to be fighting for gay rights, have now identified 14 different types of sexual orientation. BDSM being classed as a sexual orientation and taught to children in schools.
It's not happening. And if it actually is, that's outrageous. That's outrageous, and that shouldn't be taught in schools. Like, really, consent and communication are really the only things you need to be teaching in schools. And those 2 topics don't have to be sexually related to anything. You can take consent and communication and apply it to any situation. It will improve your life across all of the different ways of life and parts of life and facets of life. That's all you need. It's maybe not all you need, but it's a big part of what you need.
No, this is obviously not acceptable because fetish is not a sexual orientation.
Well, okay, yeah. I'm pretty sure I can co-sign that.
This is what's happening internationally, so I suppose there's something
but it's not, though.
About the importance of actually international collaboration, because this is such a international kind of move.
Exactly. And also after we introduced the self-ID law, the deterrent, how do you say it? the decay of women's rights have been so apparent. And the unfortunate situation is that the feminist organizations in Iceland are completely captured by this as well. You know, for example, the Icelandic Women's Rights Foundation has both Trans Iceland as a sub organization working for it. So
there's lots of work to do, but it's very inspiring to be here and continue the collaboration.
Absolutely, and I hope to collaborate with a lot of people that I've met here. So yeah, brilliant. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, last one. Let's do this thing.
My name is Jesper, and I'm the chairman of something called the Danish Rainbow Council. And I was fortunate enough to be able to speak here today, this afternoon.
I'm kind of obsessed with his styling, but I think that'll fade.
Finding being at the conference.
I mean, I'm pretty amazed. It took me a little while to go in and look at the entire speakers list, and that made me a little nervous because everybody is here. Like everybody I've ever listened to, everybody I respect in this game, like the most courageous people, the most well-spoken people, the biggest thinkers about this. I
feel like he said thinkers, but it really sounded like he said stinkers.
Stinkers.
Right?
Room full of, I would say, love, sanity, caring, and like an incredible fighting spirit as well.
It's so odd to describe a group of people as sane, like we all have sanity. They're also loving, they have sanity. That's a weird thing to say. That sounds like you're overcoming an objection already, and that, to me, is a red flag. It's almost like a Freudian slip, right? Like nobody who's sane tells you that they're sane, you know?
To rectify the madness that has been prevailing for so long.
Yes.
Stop the madness.
I was at your presentation, and it was very clear and extremely moving, and I think both you and Sue just expressed your feeling, and there was some...
Did we talk to Sue K, Mary K, the first one with the shitty website? I don't know who that was.
That felt very powerful than that. That was the kind of animating spirit underneath all of this.
I mean, there's a reason that we're in this game.
Yeah, it's because you're hateful.
We're definitely not for the money. You're in it because, I mean, you have to fight it. And sometimes that sort of comes out. You know, one thing, I thought I would hold it together, but then I locked eyes with a lady who, one of the mothers who are fighting this fight in, like, first front and everything. And you shouldn't lock eyes with somebody who's, move because that will definitely get to you. I really thought I'd keep it together, but of course you can't, because this is what it's all about. It is about lives being ruined, both the lives of children and young people and their affected families who are suffering incredibly and still managing to get up every day.
It's giving martyr energy to think that you're suffering if you have a queer child or a trans child. You are probably going to be estranged. Hopefully, that's the best option. Let people do what they want to do. And if not, get bent, you know?
Fight the good fight. Travel all the way from Australia and Japan and wherever else to be here and to give their 2 cents and just sort of keep the togetherness and the realization that we are all in this fight together, and it's really a fight worth fighting.
And yes, that it really matters. And for me, that moment, it wasn't you didn't hold it together. You went into something deeper, and it kind of furthered the connection. And I think there's something
emotional manipulation
about the spirit and the connection here, and that you're doing the work in Denmark, which you don't have masses of support, and it was really very moving to hear about it.
Again, some of the happiest, smartest, wealthiest countries in the world don't support you. We might want to look into that instead of just blaming everyone else.
We're not on the public dole, unlike the legacy organisation that we typically lock horns with. They get 22 million a year. And we are funded by donors and members, and maybe we'll make our way onto as an NGO on the public dole, but we've managed to do a lot for very little.
Yes, no, that was what I was aware of, and I think that this movement is fought by lots of different kind of guerrilla groups and doing different things, and that something that
Guerrilla groups.
finding in the UK is the importance of collaborating, and that needs to be cross-country as well.
It does, and I think that's what Genspect does so brilliantly by doing this. It just brings everyone together, and it just refocuses the fight once a year, and with all the work that they do, apart from that, with the podcast, which I was fortunate enough to be a guest on, and I think that's really, so it's the hub of sanity in this.
I'm sorry, I realized for the last 30 seconds I haven't paid attention to a thing he just said. So if it matters, let me know in the comments.
Calamity that sort of struck the entire Western world. So I'm extremely pleased to be here.
Thank you very much.
A California kindergarten teacher is facing outrage after discussing gender identity with her students.
Can you shut up a second? Okay, girly wigs, that brings us to the end of this episode of Dismantling Hate. We powered through a lot there. I don't think I really learned anything. There was no new information, but it is always good to keep up with Genspect. I'm on the mailing list for Genspect. I'm doing some certified amateur sleuthing for this organization as well, and I'm collecting receipts, and I'm laying low as to not get caught. So there is going to be some Genspect things coming up in the next few weeks/months, depending on how fast they move. They generally move very slow because they're dumb. You should really be subscribed to this channel if you made it, especially if you made it to the end of this video. I want to reach 1,000 subs. I'm so close, and I'm ready to see that 4-digit number. If you want some of this content in short form, you can follow Dismantling Hate on Instagram and TikTok. You can do all these things to support me. Basically, I'm sitting in the sunset light right now, and I just want to keep talking as long as possible because I feel like my skin is literally glowing in this moment. But yeah, thanks for being here. I appreciate you getting to the end. And until the next time, goodbye. My nails match my shirt. That's really essentially the whole reason I'm filming tonight, is because these nails need to come off because you can't see them too close, but they're a little janky. But I had this shirt laid out for a while specifically to wear with these nails. Do I have a shadow on my forehead, or am I just seeing that? I think I'm just seeing that.